News for Jackson, Chief Meteorologist David Eckerd. We have turned the page into now meteorological spring, and the first large, powerful storm system of meteorological spring is impacting a good deal of the Midwest and Southeast after producing some significant damage on Thursday across much of portions of East Texas and into sections of Louisiana. And unfortunately, we think there's going to be more active weather as we head into Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Here's the wider picture on the latest radar imagery. You can see this is a huge storm system with the core of it actually sitting over sections of southern Indiana and southern Illinois. You can see a large cold front attached to it. It's likely going to produce some severe weather. And yes, there's even some snow that's now rapidly developing on the northern edge of this system. So it's a multifaceted system that's actually kind of a spring storm and also a winter storm. One of the bigger things we are concerned about is the threat for some severe weather. Again, earlier on Thursday, much of East Texas, parts of Arkansas, Louisiana dealt with severe weather. Today, it's going to be moving off into sections of Kentucky, Tennessee, sections of North Georgia, and the mountains of the Carolinas. This big bullseye here. That's where we're concerned about some widespread wind damage. Could be some multiple tornadoes with this activity, and would not be surprised if we actually see more severe weather develop down here into sections of Georgia and parts of Alabama, again, as that cold front continues to work its way into sections of that area. One of the other big things you probably notice here locally is the wind. This is a very powerful and deepening storm system, and as it lifts its way off towards the north and east, it is producing a lot of wind here. In fact, everyone that you see is under either a wind advisory or a high wind warning. Most of Kentucky and Tennessee has actually been placed in a high wind warning, and high wind warnings are actually pretty serious because a lot of times those are winds ahead of the thunderstorms. We could be talking about wind gusts at times over 55 to 60 miles per hour. The other big concern is the threat for some flooding rains. We have a flood watch in effect here for much of Indiana and Ohio, and the flooding continues to be an issue into sections of Illinois, Missouri, and Arkansas. All these green dots you see here, those are flood warnings and flash flood warnings that are in effect. We also have the threat for some winter weather as well. In fact, winter storm warnings are posted for a good deal of Michigan, northern Indiana, and kind of the far northeastern corner there of Illinois. Right now, it looks like Chicago will escape the worst of the weather, maybe a dusting to about an inch of snow, especially on the south side of the city. But the snow is going to be a big issue in the sections of the Midwest. Look at this corridor here, kind of running from just about Champaign, Illinois, all the way up through Detroit. We could be talking about some significant snowfall. Detroit, Jackson, Michigan could see double-digit snowfall totals. You may be saying to yourself, they're used to snow there, but they have not had a ton of snow in the Midwest, so this could end up being Detroit, Kalamazoo, and Jackson's largest snowfall, at least in one time they've seen all winter long. And this storm system's heading towards the northeast, where it's going to produce more heavy snowfall. Look at some of these numbers. 4 inches possible in the Boston area. We could have double-digit totals in the sections of Albany and Concord. Wouldn't be surprised some of the higher terrain here in Vermont and New Hampshire actually ends up with maybe 14 to even possibly 16 inches of snow. For here locally, we are going to see some issues, but very minor. It looks like the threat for thunderstorms now is really going to stay well off towards the north. Probably going to see some scattered showers overnight into the morning hours on Saturday. That's going to be as the storm system lifts northeastward and that cold front begins to swing through the area. So no doubt about it, it's been a rocky Thursday across parts of the plains and southeast. It looks like on Friday the big concerns will be sections of the Midwest and southeast. This is Chief Meteorologist David Eckerd for Channel 4, the local station.